The Colorado Buffaloes are the story of college football through in the 2023 season, even with a whole bunch of other programs that have, as we sensed the entire time, a better chance to win the national championship and are winning in their own campuses, but we're not paying attention because it's Deion doing Deion things. And it's a fascinating watch to watch this team do what they are doing and Deion do it in the manner in which he is doing it and doing it well. And along come the Oregon Ducks to basically say, we're out here in our hamlet in Eugene, and we're pretty damn good. And we are going to lay it on thick as we possibly can lay it on. We are gonna show everybody how we do it out here. Nobody's paying attention to Bo Nix and the rest of this team that can win the Natty. And we're going to show everybody that's here. And Dan Lanning showed up, the head coach of the Oregon Ducks, with that don't lose that intensity, same intensity type attitude. And what ended up playing out was what I think Deion deep down knew was possible, and what we all, despite talking about Colorado, knew would be possible when the Buffaloes faced a team like Oregon that can show up in the trenches much bigger than Colorado and shove them around. And then when they're stumbling, shove them even more. And when you're actually, maybe, say, punting, shove them even more by faking it deep in your own end and just jam it down their throats until they are crying for less. And that's what Dan Lanning did. And in the middle of the curb stomping, the ABC broadcast popped onto the screen, Lanning talking to the team before the contest. And this is how he got the Ducks riled up for play.
Rooted in substance, not flash. Rooted in substance. Today, we talk with our pads. You talk with your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference, right? This game ain't going to be played in Hollywood. It's going to be played on the grass. Let's go.
I got to tell you, I have no problem with that pregame speech. That was epic. In terms of fighting the way you fight, and on occasion looking over and seeing who everyone else is paying attention to while you're doing it your way, and your competition gets more attention for doing it their way, and you feel the way you do it should get more attention and more kudos coming your way. I've got to tell you, I feel that way every day sitting in this chair going against the competition we go against. All the time. And when we do get somebody saying, hey, we appreciate you, it's great to hear. But sometimes you lose out to people who are doing their business in a way that causes more attention to be paid. So I get it, Dan Lanning. I totally get it. My only pushback would be Deion Sanders' clicks that he's supposedly playing for are done so he can win. The clicks are not to make him more famous.
He's already super famous.
It's not about the clicks
Spoiler alert.
alone. I don't know how many times I can say this. It's not about the clicks alone. And when you see cameras on him, phones and handheld cameras and whatever, it's for a documentary that he's putting together. And I can't wait to see Coach Prime Season 2 about this weekend. And about last weekend when he lost Travis Hunter in that Donnybrook against Colorado State. And man, did they need Travis Hunter on Saturday. Yeah. What a bummer that kid wasn't out there. I don't know if it would have made much of a difference because he doesn't play in the trenches, which is where Deion also knows he's light. He's light in the trenches, and he knows it. Yeah. And so the clicks that are there are clicking in a way where the kids are going to show. And Oregon's doing it their way. And Deion knows the way that he does it is going to get coaches like Dan Lanning with programs like the one that Dan Lanning's running and with kids in the locker room that Dan Lanning has bigger than his, they're going to play that up. And on Saturdays, like this one, it's going to be used against them effectively. This is what Deion had to say after the beatdown. He said they played like hot garbage, which, by the way, how many times have we heard him use that phrase on the air and behind the scenes about teams that get stomped on? This is what Deion had to say.
It translates in practice. I don't say stuff just to say it for a click, contrary to what somebody say. But, I keep receipts. But I'm serious. I analyze and I understand what we're up against and what we have and what we need. One thing that I could say honestly and candidly, you better get me right now. This is the worst we're going to be. You better get me right now.
Yeah, because the clicks the clicks that he's getting is so he can start winning faster by getting the kids. And 100%, you better believe he knows exactly what they needed on Saturday, what they need for this coming Saturday against USC. It could be just as long of an afternoon in front of his home folks. He knows exactly what they need, and I don't think there's any doubt in my mind or yours, wherever you're taking in this show or listening, that he's going to get it. He's going to get it. But what a weekend, man. It was a rough one. And I do have to say this as well, just because Deion doesn't need my help either. But I found this tweet interesting. I wound up in my timeline from Danny O'Neill. I don't know. He's a writer, I guess. He wrote, in terms of they fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. He wrote, now let's go run out there in their 4,346 uniform combination and show them why we're above doing things strictly for attention.
That's right. Yeah.
Which was an interesting way of doing it. Yeah. But what Dan Lanning's not doing is having documentaries and things of that nature. And that's the way Deion does it. Because what's the best selling point for a one-win program saying we need more kids coming in and we're flipping our roster around? Who's the number one selling point? Him. And at one point, he knows the best selling point is a winning program more than anything else. But to get to the winning program, he's selling himself. Not just because he wants to be famous, because he's smart enough to know what's the best selling point there is. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.